Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing great. And let's start with today's story, titled New Details Still Trickling Out 30 Years Later. We were at a large dinner party with friends, and a close friend told this hilarious story about something that happened on a group European trip. A trip I couldn't attend because of work. The story was about an embarrassing incident that involved my wife and her affair partner. Our friends are clueless and know nothing about the affair. To them, it was just a funny wardrobe malfunction story. The European trip was months after I discovered the affair and was promised there would be, and was no, contact between the two of them during the trip. Well, another lie? Another blow-up fight 30 years after reconciliation? My self-esteem once again thrown to the curb. For clarity, this isn't the first time the truth has come out accidentally. It seems to happen at least once every 4 or 5 years, making my life a living hell. During the argument, everything was rehashed and she denied several things that she had already admitted to long ago. Apparently, it's hard to keep your story straight and memories fade. Every detail is burned into my mind like a steel trap, and I can't forget the details no matter how much I would love to. I feel like a fool, and I'm very vulnerable right now. When my wife had the affair, I did everything wrong. There was no internet, there were no Reddit subs, only terrible advice from religious leaders. I did the pick-me dance. I hid the affair from family and friends. I wanted details and thought I was told the truth. But no. I filed for divorce today. I'm now the bad guy. Our adult children and extended family don't know anything about the past infidelity, the lies, the damage done. Everyone is pissed at me for leaving mom. Even if I outed my wife, I look like a fool for staying for so long. Let bygones be bygones. People don't understand how trickle truth reopens that wound again and again and again. I'm done. So here are some thoughts on reconciliation. Leaving your spouse for infidelity has a short shelf life. You should consider leaving first, and reconciliation second. You can leave a cheater and not be the villain. Wait too long, and you look like a fool or a person who abandons your spouse. It never goes away. Your relationship will never be the same. What was hard for me was it felt selfish to leave her, impact the children, take the social hit, etc. I never thought about myself and the impact it has had on my life. Honestly, my self-esteem never recovered, and it hurt my career and impacted all of my relationships, not just my relationship with my wife. Impact. The underlying anger was always there. My wife, who deserves better, had to live with a very angry man for all of these years. Surprisingly, when I filed for divorce, that anger disappeared. I'm not even angry with her. It's very hard, but it feels like I'm finally doing the right thing. I know I'm coming across as a fool, but please don't judge me too harshly. Her affair wasn't so much about having sex with another man, which destroyed a part of me. It was about the lack of loyalty, the lack of consideration about how it would affect me. It was about all the lies that were necessary to carry on the affair, and the continued deception that has carried on for years. There was this comment in the original post that caught my eye. Someone said to OP, I had hid the truth from everyone for 17 years. I stayed for the kids. One day my daughter and her friend were being very rude about something I did over the years to cope with what I realize now, after therapy, was depression. It wasn't drinking or drugs. I worked 2 jobs to pay the bills, and I liked to game as an escape and to avoid things. Her mother was sitting right there on the couch and did not defend me, so I blew up, and it all came out. My daughter was 21 at the time. It was so good to watch my wife have to take accountability finally, and for the kids to finally be able to understand why I do some of the things I did. Never ever hide it. They have 0 consequences when you do, and get to paint themselves as the victim. OP replied with, I can relate to this. I've heard my kids ask my wife why I'm so angry all the time. She could have taken some responsibility for my anger, but never has. OP, the best time to take action was in the past. The second best time is now. And now to the update. I am so appreciative of all the support and advice I received from everyone on this sub. I'm actually terrified to write this update because I'm not following some of the advice I received. Solid advice too, it just doesn't work for me. I'll explain. Here's an update as to where I stand right now. I met with my attorney, accountant, financial advisor, and filed for divorce. I fired our marriage counselor we have been seeing for years because of my anger issues in the relationship. Go figure. I'm in personal therapy. I moved all of my belongings to a storage unit and have a new home cross-country ready for occupation in a few weeks. My anger has evaporated, my self-esteem is improving, and I'm hopeful for the future for the first time in many years. Many people have asked about my wife's status. I would say she is devastated, sad, shocked, and confused that a lie she told 30 years ago is ending her marriage at this late date. Sometimes it even sounds crazy to me, but this is what trickle truth does to a relationship. If you've never been betrayed, It's really difficult to understand how painful and damaging it is to find another lie and another lie and another lie over the years. Any trust that has been built through reconciliation is tossed out the window, and it's discovery day all over again. Here's the part that I'm fearful to admit. Most people told me to out my wife's infidelity to our children and friends to avoid taking the heat myself for our divorce. Please forgive me, but I don't think it's in my best interest to do that. I'll try to explain why, but I think you will slay me in the comments anyway. I'm an older man and I'm used to taking the heat. I don't care deeply what our friends think of me. They know me. If how they feel about me changes because of divorce, they weren't that great of friends in the first place. The ones who've asked, I told them I've been unhappy for years and I'm no longer willing to continue. I do care what my children and grandchildren think of me. But I believe if I told them the truth, they would say, that was long ago. Why can't you forgive and move on? Like I said earlier, if you know, you know. If you haven't experienced betrayal, you just don't get it. They will be upset with me regardless. They would be more upset with my wife, and I don't know how they would react towards her, possibly even alienating her from our grandchildren who she loves deeply. I'm really tired. What I need right now is rest and peace. Creating a bunch of drama so people will look more favorably on me just doesn't work for me. It's not who I am. A lot of angry people in the comments want my wife to be punished for what she's done, humiliated. To you, I say, being divorced at age 63 is no small thing. She swept it under the rug, yes. But she is devastated now by the scope of the damage her lies have done. She minimized her role in the divorce and will never admit anything, but she hasn't actively made me look bad to friends and family for leaving. If she goes into attack mode and starts bad-mouthing me, I will be forced to play the cards I hold. I've told her this. I'm primarily interested in my own healing, and after much consideration, I don't think it would help me heal. I hold a lot of shame for staying as long as I did, it's true, but I'm working with my therapist on those issues. I've had a few weeks to let this settle in my mind, and there is an important concept that needs to be learned from my experience. First, reconciliation is hard, painful, and almost impossible to accomplish under the best circumstances. I've been a proponent of reconciliation in the past, but no more. It's taken me 30 years to get to the point where I can honestly say, I'm primarily interested in my own healing. If you have been cheated on, and you can't make that statement with confidence, then you aren't ready for reconciliation. Second, trickle truthing is one of the most heinous forms of abuse you can do to your partner. Trickle truthing leaves your partner in a constant state of uncertainty, destroys their ability to trust, places the emotional burden on them, and exploits their desire for reconciliation. Also, you can protect your ego and shelter yourself from the consequences of your poor behavior. If you take this route, you are an abuser. I hope to do another update around the first of the year when my divorce is finalized. Thank you for the positive words and energy. Don't worry about anyone else. You made the right call for your peace. The past is done. Your new chapter starts now. And now to the final update. Thanks to the sub for your support and advice. My divorce was finalized last month, a process that took 6 months total but seemed much longer. I'm happier, have more confidence, and love myself a lot more since separating from my now ex-wife. I won't lie, the financial impact was difficult, but worth it. Surprisingly, I'm doing very well. For years, I was a huge advocate for marriage and believed that reconciliation was the first option and absolutely doable. I no longer believe this to be true. I now believe that true reconciliation is rare and only successful under the best conditions and with utter transparency. What I have witnessed is this. The wayfaring partner wants to reconcile and put the past behind them. They're quick to forgive themselves and move on. Happiness is a short reach for them. The betrayed spouse has a completely different experience. Small lies cause them to go cross-eyed. Almost always, they are traumatized. Finding happiness for them is fleeting at best. Since our separation, I've had numerous discussions with counselors and therapists, the reconciliation industry. They insist the loyal partner doesn't need to know the details about the infidelity. They believe healing is faster and more complete if you don't reveal everything that happened. Honestly, I couldn't disagree more. First, the loyal spouse needs to make a decision. Should I stay or should I leave? If material facts are hidden, even for their protection, how can they make an informed decision? I'm convinced that cheating is a character flaw. If your partner is not able to be forthright with what happened, that is another flaw. If they are still being deceptive, even after being exposed, that is strike 3. They've already shown you through their actions who they are and what they are capable of doing, so if you can't trust their words, where is a foundation to start the reconciliation process? The rare case I witnessed when reconciliation was successful had all of the following characteristics. This could be a partial checklist for should I stay or should I leave? The cheater came forward about the affair. It wasn't exposed by an outside source. The cheater ended the relationship on their own with finality. The cheater took drastic steps to make sure there wouldn't be any further contact with the affair partner. Quit their job. The cheater initiated individual and couples therapy. They didn't wait for the loyal spouse to find a counselor. The cheater provided a detailed timeline with names, places, and how this disaster happened. The cheater turned over passwords and complete access to their email, phones, and social media. The cheater revealed to friends and family the nature of the affair and took responsibility for their actions. The cheater answered questions that arose even months later when the spouse was insecure. Each of these is very difficult. It amounts to the stars lining up for your relationship to survive. This is why I now believe the first choice should be, I'm leaving. Prove to me why I should stay. Then let them prove it. Ultimately, the decision to stay or go is up to you. Just don't believe the fallacy that your relationship will ever be the same again. That relationship is dead. Can you build a new one? Perhaps. It seems that most people eventually regret staying with a cheater, but there are lots of reasons to stay. I've heard them all. There is one really good reason to leave: self-respect. 100% agree with that last line. OP, I'm really glad you're finally free. Wishing you all the best moving forward. And next, the second story. Found out wife of 13 years is cheating. Now what? Been together for 19 effing years, married for 13. Obviously, we've had arguments and disagreements over all these years, but nothing that would make me think this is it. I can't be with her anymore. I still loved her to death until Discovery Day happened. We have a 10-month-old daughter, so everything has been rough the past year. It's our first baby. Lots of stress and sleepless nights. I work and my wife doesn't, and she's home with our daughter during the day, so I understand how hard it's been on her. I help a lot when I'm home, but still, she's doing most of the work. We're very close with another couple, have known them for 8 to 9 years. They are our age and have a 1.5-year-old child, and we hang out with each other a lot. The four of us have been on many trips and have had sad and fun times together, and have become even closer since having kids. Since we've known them for almost 9 years, I really think of the guy as my brother, think of his wife as my sister, and love their son to death just like my own child. My wife and I have even talked about asking them to be godparents of our daughter. My wife and the husband play volleyball professionally, and except for 3 months before plus after our daughter was born, they've been playing 3 times a week going to different gyms. My wife is really good and competitive, and volleyball is like a therapy for her, so obviously I've been encouraging and supporting her, and it's really helped her after pregnancy. Sometimes he comes and picks up my wife, sometimes my wife goes and picks him up. The thought of them doing something other than volleyball had never even crossed my mind. A few nights ago in bed, my wife fell asleep with her phone in her hands. I picked it up to put it on the charger next to her, and I saw what shattered my whole life: her text messages with the guy. Last messages were kisses and hearts saying goodnight to each other and how much they love each other. My heart was pumping, still not sure what was going on, hoping that maybe it's all from his side, but nope. My wife was also expressing love and affection to him, and telling him how she can't wait until next time they see each other to be in his arms. I really couldn't read much of the texts as I was processing anger, betrayal, frustration/disbelief, but from few of the texts I read, it seemed like the guy always had a crush on my wife since 9 years ago, that we all met each other, but never expressed anything until 1.5 years ago, that something happened and their relationship started. I really couldn't continue reading, as I was almost throwing up, so I put her phone down and went to bed. Couldn't sleep at all that night and nights since then. Obviously, this is all I've been thinking about every day and all day since, but I can't help myself. Thinking about that, our daughter is 10 months old and 10 plus 9 is 19, so almost 1.5 years. We were actively trying to conceive back then, but still, what if? What else could have happened 1.5 years ago? I have so many questions, but don't really know what to do next. I have ordered an at-home DNA test kit, but after reading more of their messages on another occasion, I'm pretty confident that so far, their relationship has been mostly emotional, and the only thing physical has been hugging each other. It seems that the guy is trying to push the limits, though, as the hugging has just started a month or so ago, and my wife is feeling uncomfortable with their rate of progress in the physical domain. But still, she's an adult, and no one is forcing her to do anything. She can say no, she can stop the guy, she is choosing to send hearts, to say she misses him, she loves him. In her messages, she's mentioned quite a few times that she still has feelings for me and can't really compare and choose between me and him. I loved her to death until discovering all this, but am now disgusted every time I see her. Every time I play with my daughter and kiss her and see her smiling, I just can't help but cry and think how my selfish wife has ruined the life of this innocent, pure little angel's life. I'll see what the paternity test says next week, even though it looks like they haven't had any sex. Not sure what to do next. Part of me wants to confront her and know the truth. Part of me wants to work it out and try to understand her reasons and work to recover from this and save our marriage. Part of me wants to punch the piece of shit guy in the face. Part of me wants to get a divorce as soon as possible, and part of me wants to sneak around and find out more about their relationship and how far it goes before confronting them. Part of me wants to warn the guy's wife, but feel sorry for ruining her life and their son's life. So yeah, what the F do I do now? My mind is still not in the right place, so I don't want to make any rush decisions. But if I want to work this out, how do I approach it? Contact the divorce lawyer ASAP. Also inform the AP's wife. And now to the update. So it's been 3 weeks since Discovery Day, and I thought to post an update. The past 3 weeks have been hell, yet it has helped me to focus on the next steps and what I want to do. The DNA test came back positive, so I'm 99.99% my daughter's biological father. I knew from their text that they haven't been physical, so why did I take the test? Because the timing of the start of their relationship seemed awfully close to when we were conceiving, and I wanted to be damn sure. My wife and affair partner use a messaging app for all of their communication, and luckily for me, this app supports chat exports. On Discovery Day, I was so crushed and sick that I couldn't go through their text messages, but a few days later, I was able to get to her phone while she was asleep and export their entire chat history, and have been doing so every week to get the latest messages. Am I proud of what I'm doing? Absolutely not. But reading these messages have made me 100% confident that I don't want reconciliation and want to go for divorce, so I think it's worth it. The messages started about a year ago, and it's clear that previous conversations are deleted. There are also other times where there are a few days of no messages, but then the conversation just continues naturally, so it's clear that those days are also deleted. Most notably, there's 3 weeks of silence right after our daughter was born. I still haven't read all the messages, but have read the majority of them, which clearly shows that their relationship, for now, is mostly emotional. I say for now because while they've had kisses and hugs, there are messages from my wife telling a affair partner that, I know what you want from me, but I can't give it to you. It's also effing weird that I have this lens into their relationship and can see what they talk about, and they, as far as I can tell, have absolutely no idea. How is it possible that they have no idea? Well, I've been trying absolutely hard to hide any emotions and feelings and play the same dumb and loving husband role this entire time. I've even realized that I'm overcompensating a bit and showing too much love and affection because my wife has noticed it, and there are some recent messages from my wife telling a affair partner, I don't deserve his love. I'm trying my best to not be any different around her, but have to admit that it feels good seeing her guilt. When I'm not with her or my daughter, I'm an absolute mess. I'm crying all the time, my stomach gets sick and upset really easily by just thinking about my life. Every time I see a happy couple, especially with a young daughter, I just burst into tears thinking how this could have been my life. But now I, and my daughter, will never have that. At work, everyone has noticed I've changed and am no longer the social fun colleague who was cracking dad jokes all the time. I'm trying my best to not let this affect my performance and output, but it would be a lie if I say it hasn't impacted my work as I'm constantly phasing out and thinking about their relationship and how fucked up my life is. I sit in the same office as this other guy who I'm semi-close to and chat about our lives from time to time. He actually asked me last week if everything is all right because you look depressed. I think I will eventually tell him since I know he's been divorced before and is now happily married again, but I'm not ready yet. So what is my plan and when will I be ready, you ask? I know 100% I want a divorce, but it's not at all easy to pretend I can just move on from 20 years of nonstop loving her, so I really need time to get ready. California is a no-fault state, but I'm still preparing evidence so that I can have closure and expose my wife and affair partner to other betrayed spouse and family and friends, because no one would believe that these two sweet people would do something like this. I hired a private investigator to follow them around on volleyball days. 3 days of 4-hour sessions has so far cost me $2,000, and all I have is them holding hands, a affair partner kissing my wife on the forehead, and hours of video of them just sitting in a affair partner's car and talking. I always thought that they play volleyball for the entire 3-4 hours that they are out, but now I know that they play about an hour and then just sit or walk around and talk. I don't really know what they talk about though, other than serious stuff, because many times in their messages, when one of them really starts talking about their feelings for each other, they both say, let's wait and have this discussion in person, both before and after Discovery Day. I was really hoping to capture them kissing on the mouth/lips, or even something more intimate, as the ultimate evidence, but that has not happened yet. And I don't really want to pay the private investigator another $600 to $700 to just sit in his car while these two just talk. I've thought about bugging his car, but even I have some boundaries and lines. We see a fair partner and his wife several times a week and spend most of the weekends together. It's damn effing hard seeing a fair partner all the time and not punching him in the face and just pretending life is normal. My next action is contacting a few lawyers and consulting with them. The private investigator tells me that hiring a family divorce lawyer in California is a waste of money because everything in the end will be split, but I guess I still want to have a consultation and learn more about my options as far as child support and alimony. I have a well-paying tech job and my wife is not working, and it just crushes me that I have to share all my retirement company stocks and salary with her. I feel like she should be punished for what she has done, but looks like she will actually walk away from all this with lots of money. We bought a house 3 years ago and have about 500 to 600K equity in it, but it's all paid by my salary and bonuses while I was busting my arse off working, and she was having her affair. I just can't effing believe that she's gonna get half of all my work, and I have to even keep paying her after divorce. I also really seriously want to ask the lawyers if it's possible for me to kick her out of the house and just not let her see our daughter, even for a few days. But I know she's legally her mom and I can't take her away from her. Besides, my daughter would be crushed if her mom is not around. I also want to find a therapist who specializes in family trauma and divorce so that I can figure out the best way to navigate the next steps with the least impact on my daughter. After consulting with the lawyer, I'm planning to chat with his wife as well and present all evidence. I'm planning to serve my wife the divorce papers in front of her teammates while they are playing volleyball, and ideally, if AP's wife also agrees, we serve divorce papers to both of them at the same time. I'm also writing up draft messages to friends and family that I'm planning to send out at the exact same time. I'll provide pictures and screenshots of some of the messages to my wife's family. You're definitely going to take a financial hit, but the sooner you end things, the less she gets in the long run. Good luck and be the best dad to your daughter. And with that, we will wrap up today's video. Dear viewers, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out. See you next time. Bye-bye.